are WWE about to crown a queen in the desert. Welcome to this week's episode of The Chop Shop, brought to you by Bucklebum Entertainment and in association with the Blue Network. Introducing first, hailing from Luton, United Kingdom, he is the one Walsh Meister, Luke Adele Walsh. Bada bing, bada boom. How are we all doing? Introducing next to my left, she is the mean queen of New York. She is Sarah Bistek. And finally, Orlando Otego. How are we? Another busy week in the WWE. And where better to start than the news this week that WWE are going to bring Queen of the Ring before Saudi Arabia.
Yes, wondering if it's kind of to make up, since usually it's mostly men. You know, they might bring two women over. But remember when we saw the All Women's Pay-Per-View Evolution, that was right the week before, a week after a Saudi Arabia show. So it kind of feels like this is, okay, we're not doing another pay-per-view, so here's Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, and it's going to be just basically a Peacock exclusive. So it's basically almost a pay-per-view in a sense for the women.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's about time that they're going to have a Queen of the Ring. They've been talking about it for what, like a year or two now?
Mm-hmm.
So
They have definitely flirted with the idea of another women's pay-per-view. Evolution 2 has been knocked around for years and years, certainly since
this is not technically an Evolution 2. This is technically a newer kind of women's pay-per-view in a sense.
You're saying technically a lot more times. Let's face it, it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? When we saw it, hey, let's not beat around the bush here. We saw Evolution 2 in October, Evolution 1 even, at the start of October 2018. It was 2 weeks later that they were in Saudi Arabia when Jamal Khashoggi had died, and they were controversially hounded and astonished that they decided to do a show in Saudi Arabia. So it feels very much look at the shiny thing and then ignore everything else that's happening over here. So, whether WWE are going to take a Queen of the Ring tournament seriously enough to then go over to Saudi Arabia and put on a first show, which they haven't done since March 2020, because I heard that one went down really, really well.
All I'm just saying is just that they better not crown Charlotte Flair. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's going to be Charlotte.
Oh, no. Don't put that in the universe. No.
It's Charlotte wins, lol. Have you not learned that, Orlando?
You know what? I would give it to Dana Brooke. You know what? Dana Brooke has been through the ringer for these past 6 or 7 years in WWE. She's gotten several partners. She's not getting the push. Maybe at least give her something. Like here, as a little prize that you've been in WWE for so long, be the first Queen of the Ring. You know? I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, but she's pregnant, so she's not wrestling.
Allegedly, that's a rumor. So, and she was at Raw this past week, so I doubt that. I don't know. I don't think you can travel when you're pregnant. Honestly, I don't know.
I mean, aside from the fantasy booking that you're suggesting, what other names would you put in the Queen of the Ring tournament mix? I mean, we hounded the choice of 8 women for the Miss One Money in the Bank, which saw Nikki ASH go on to win the briefcase and then win the Raw Women's title. So, of the entire women's divisions across Raw, SmackDown, NXT, maybe NXT UK if they're feeling flirty enough, who'd you put in that kind of tournament?
I would want Liv Morgan to win it. Like, you know what? Because the fans were really backing her, so I think that would be a nice little treat for her. Like, they didn't give her Money in the Bank because a lot of people were like asking for her to win, either her or Alexa Bliss. So I think if they're doing a Queen of the Ring tournament, maybe they could give it to Liv Morgan at least.
Depending how Becky's received when she comes back, maybe she could win it.
I mean, the question of Becky Lynch's return has been flirted with. Obviously, we expect her to be back at Money in the Bank. Very much all the reports this week say it's any minute now. Before SummerSlam will come on to the match that was made on Raw a little bit later. But certainly one name that would be amazing to see as Queen of the Ring, Meiko Satomura from NXT UK, the current NXT UK Women's Champion. surely she deserves to be the Empress of WWE.
Ooh, no, there's only one Empress right now, and that's Asuka. You don't want to do
Oh,
that.
come on. Asuka's the Empress of yesterday. Let's face it. Asuka of yesteryear has been and gone and had the WrestleMania t-shirt.
Okay. But we'll see. I don't think they're gonna include NXT or NXT UK with what's going on now with reports. I mean, it would be nice, but we'll see.
Mhm.
It would be fascinating to see who they bring in for the tournament. Obviously, we haven't seen a decent King of the Ring tournament in quite a while. Sorry, Baron Corbin. Everyone goes sub to
Oh no,
the.
the women. Let's just say the women are gonna probably like really take this opportunity and kill it. So, whoever they choose, hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's not Charlotte. I think the women are gonna probably do excellent in this tournament. So.
Well, again, Evolution was a great show. It was one of the best shows of 2018. Mickey James said it recently. That obviously now she's talking about the NWA women's show. Is that they really pulled their socks out and really gave it their all, even though it had that house show vibe instead of the main pay-per-view build that they could have given it. They still put on one hell of a night, and you know. No one complained at Becky Lynch against Charlotte Flair that night because they put on an absolute barnstormer. So,
Of course not.
you know, it's got to happen, and it's got to happen on a bigger stage, personally, especially now that fans are back. Time to move on and talk about the other wrestling news of the week, starting with Friday Night SmackDown being at Rolling Loud in Miami, and the main talking points coming out of the dual show that was in Cleveland and in Miami was that we are getting a pay-per-view, guys, on New Year's Day. Hooray! Should all acquaintance be too early? Okay. New Year's Day pay-per-view. Good idea? Or they're just going to call it New Year's resolution?
I mean, they could call it something different. I mean, but it's been what? How long has it been since we've seen New Year's resolution? Like what? 10 years? Over 10 years?
Didn't NXT do something last year on New Year's? If I'm not mistaken.
I think they did, but I think they called it something else. But could be, but you know, but I'm excited. I mean, I'm just anxious just to see what they're gonna do. You know, it's gonna be in Atlanta, so shout out to everybody that's gonna be in Atlanta, Georgia, to see a pay-per-view, and also another pay-per-view on a Saturday. So I don't know if it's the deal with Peacock or something, but it looks like the major pay-per-views are probably going to be moving to Saturdays or something.
Well, it smells like it, doesn't it? Because obviously New Year's Eve then is going to be on a Friday night where they can have a probably a taped SmackDown so that people can spend time with their families over the holiday period. Or Vince McMahon might force them to work because he's that kind of maniac. But yeah, New Year's Day 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. Heck, it's going to be Goldberg's night again. That's going to be the first match of his 2022 contract. Let's all fantasy book that now. And have him just absolutely ruin the night and get 2022 off to as good a start as 2021 was. Pretty damn miserable because COVID's still here. Goldberg is the COVID-19 of all wrestlers.
Sorry. Anyway.
And just to rewind for a second, I just looked it up. NXT it was New Year's Evil, and it was on January 6th, so it wasn't on New Year's Day like I initially thought.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was called New Year's Evil. So yeah, so it was a theme type of pay-per-view, theme type of TV show that they did on Wednesday. So, yeah.
Not as good a name as New Year's Dash that New Japan have. I mean, the way they start New Year's and put a show on Wrestle Kingdom and then have another one straight after. That is the model that they need to be looking at. That is certainly for sure. But of course, the main show of Friday Night SmackDown being at the festival, slightly underwhelming, certainly from the festival side of things. Sarah, what did you make of it?
You know, the stage looked pretty awesome. The crowd just seemed a little flat. I like the idea of having a show at a festival, if it's the right festival, because that crowd just seemed a little flat.
Well, no, because I didn't expect it to be on the main stage. They put it on the main stage, which for me, I think that was a little bit of a mistake. normally with other festivals, like what they did with NXT and NXT UK, they'll put them on the side, like as like a little like area for people to view. So
Hmm.
I mean, it was smart for them to have like people there that used to watch wrestling, and then and then they see like Bianca Belair coming down, because she's a star as it is. So
Mm.
probably
Yeah.
there's going to be some girls there be like, oh, who is this chick? Let me check
Mhm.
out. Let me check this girl out, and then maybe they'll tune into SmackDown. This coming Friday. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
it's certainly interesting. Of course, NXT UK came to Download Festival here in the UK, and obviously the way that NXT UK has really been a community led sort of platform and a roster is that it had that level of intimacy where you could have them have a ring at a festival and film matches and have that sort of feel, and it felt right. Whereas I think to have um I guess to have a WWE ring at a Woodstock, or I'm trying to think of an American festival straight off the top of my head. You might have to
like
help me out here.
Ultra or like those electro type of like
What's
venues.
what's what's the one what's the one that happens in the desert?
Burning Man, isn't it?
Oh, the Burning
No,
Man,
the other
yeah.
one.
No, I don't know what's the other one, but there's one
The
called
two,
Burning Man.
the two big ones is Burning Man, and then there's South by Southwest.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
there's
South by
that one.
Southwest.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Imagine them having a stage there.
Now,
It,
mind you, here's the thing. Rolling Loud, you know what the majority is? The majority is the black community, which
Hmm.
I think that was smart of them to do because I think a lot of people are saying about how the black market is very important. And I think
Hmm.
it's very smart of them because their two biggest champions right now is Bobby Lashley and Bianca Belair as their reigning champions.
Hmm.
So for them to like see, oh wait, look, the WWE champion looks like me, like they'll have some more eyeballs coming on. So I mean that would be smart of them. And of
Mhm.
course Bianca with her braid and everything, with her hairstyle and her look and everything, that will like get like girls that were there because it's mostly like what young adults that are
Yeah,
probably
it looked
going.
like it.
Yeah, so, but the crowd, like, come on now, the crowd was either drunk or high during that festival.
Hmm.
Or both.
They're both, yeah, yeah.
I think they made a complete misstep in not having someone like Big E show up on stage and
So,
have him be.
I mean, there's always next year. Like, look, Wale was happy to have WWE there. Like, he's a fan, and I think he wants like hip hop and WWE to work really well together.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's certainly for sure. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, the viewers at home were in for a real treat. Do 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 do. The excellent brain of Mr. Paul Heyman taking John Cena to town, pulling down his jean shorts firmly between his ankles. Because John Cena is as boring as the missionary position. Oh! The first shots have been fired in the big fight for John Cena against Roman Reigns. What did we think of this, guys?
I mean, it's certainly entertaining to have Paul Heyman try to sing John Cena's theme song.
yeah, exactly. And I have to say, like, visionary position is an actual word. It's not dirty, but they censored the words. I just like, why you censor it? It's just like, it's an actual word. It's not dirt. I mean, I know people are going to be thinking like, what's missionary? And then like, kids are going to probably Google it.
Oh no. Oh no. That's the thing that WWE have sort of thing. It's that on YouTube's terms and conditions, it's not a naughty word. So the reason why they would censor something like that is a bit baffling. So yeah, I don't know, but the fact that they took that shot and it landed perfectly. Obviously, later on in that same sort of promo and same sort of thing is that Roman Reigns says no to John Cena, but yes to Finn Balor as a way of keeping them two apart. Did we agree with this?
Well, because like he knows he's probably going to beat Finn. That's probably why he said no to John. Like he's just like, I don't want to deal with John. Like it's almost the same thing. I want something new. And like he hasn't really faced like what Balor in like what 2 years,
Hmm.
I think. 2-3 years. So
I know he faced him when he first got the title. He gave him a shot before he went down to NXT. So yeah, probably about 2 years.
yeah, about so. You know.
It-
Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Roman Reigns doesn't like missionary positions, so he likes other types of positions. So.
he likes he likes the ones where he's on top. Let's just face it, he's the head of the table. But yeah, it was certainly a talking point for Friday Night SmackDown. A show that, you know, I think overall, despite having sort of two layers of success, being in Miami and being in Cleveland, they pulled off an all right show, all things considered.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing some they're moving some pieces on SmackDown. Raw is another story, so I don't I don't know.
Should we dive straight into it, Orlando? Should we get it over and done with like a COVID vaccination?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
please, because
Raw
this is like
has gone back to being terrible again. 7 days ago, me and you, Orlando, we sat here and we thought, this is it. Raw, you know, WWE turned the corner. Raw was amazing. This happened, and this week, back to square one again. It's like Raw has never left the Thunderdome.
I don't know. Is it because I'm thinking because I think Vince has an issue with certain cities. I think he knows certain cities will get a reaction from, and certain cities where they will reject everything. Like he knows that if he goes to Chicago, they'll reject everything, and they'll just hijack the show.
If he goes to Chicago, huh? If he goes to Chicago,
you know, because like Kansas City, I don't know, like they've had some good shows. It's just sometimes the people don't react well, in my opinion. But yeah, no, this past Raw was terrible. I don't know.
It says something when I guess the most exciting highlights of the night were Reginald going in and out of the ring, defending his 24/7 title against R-Truth. I mean,
but Reginald, he's a good athlete, don't you think, Sarah? I mean, like, you do like his flips?
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely got some moves, and his Cirque du Soleil background definitely shows.
You know, I just, I don't know. Like, honestly, like I'm still rooting for Nikki Cross. I'm not gonna call her that other name. I'm still rooting for her. I'm still rooting for Piper Niven. Like, even though like they had that little like mishap where Natty supposedly could be injured. Hopefully she's not. Hopefully, but they haven't really updated on her condition. So I'm thinking maybe she's okay. Maybe she's not fully injured, but I don't know.
Well, of course, let's go talk about Nikki Ash now. With the entitled future Queen of the Ring, Charlotte Flair, coming out on Raw to challenge Nikki Ash for the Raw Women's title, and obviously Rhea Ripley challenge too. Now setting up a potential, he says in quotation marks for the audio listeners, a SummerSlam triple threat for the Raw Women's title between the three of them. A lot of people aren't buying this because they can smell Becky from a mile away.
Well, it's been confirmed, but yeah, they could change it. You know what? They should leave it as this triple threat because at least it gives Rhea and Nikki Cross, a chance to be on SummerSlam on the main show because I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Nikki Cross, she was on the pre-show, so. And I think last year she wasn't even on the show, so so now she could be on the main show. So that would be, I like the beginning of Raw. I was into the first maybe hour of Raw, with Nikki's speech, and then her, and then of course Charlotte being the bitch that she is. So it's always nice to have the queen being a bitch. So.
Yeah, this is it. And, it wouldn't be a Flair without a sense of entitlement, huh? Just it's Charlotte wins, lol. That's sort of what we've come to used to her. But Sarah, we've read in the reports for weeks and months, even before we got to Money in the Bank, is that it was almost a done deal that we'd get Charlotte versus Becky at SummerSlam. Could they turn it into a fatal four-way on the night? Could we get a pop a la Hardy Boys coming back at Mania 33, and that's how they send the crowd to go absolutely bananas?
I mean, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen. I feel like they'll advertise when she's coming back, or if she comes back at the pay-per-view, it's going to be to attack somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's certainly an intriguing option they've got on the table, but also more wrestling reports this week have said, well, she's not going to go back to Raw. She's going to go back to SmackDown when she is back in the main roster, back to where really she belongs. Really, bear in mind that all throughout 2018 she was SmackDown's main star by a country mile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's also we don't know about Randy Orton. He's disappeared. And now Riddle's doing all his moves and stuff. So I'm just like, are we gonna even have them being tag team champs? And because there's a report they're saying that they put him in inactive. So that's gonna be a loss right there.
I don't see them unless he comes back next week. I don't see them going for the title at SummerSlam, which I would have thought would have been the right time to put the belts on RK Bro.
I mean,
but remember, WWE always likes to put a match at last minute, so there could be a chance that he could come back at the Go Home show, and then so.
Let me throw a curveball here. How long do we think Randy Orton's got left in the company? He's approaching almost 20 years in the business, and not really taking too much time away. Unlike The Miz, unlike John Cena, who let's not forget, have been in and around the company for roughly the same time as him. Of course, Randy Orton and John Cena from the same class of OVW. Surely there's got to be a time where he's got to step away.
Maybe next year. I could see maybe next year. I mean, right now he's just he wants to work with Riddle because it's different, because he requested it, so they honor that request. So if he feels like there's no other competitor or somebody that he could work with, then he'll just I'm done. Thank you very much. Give me my flowers. And then they'll probably ask him, don't go to AEW, please.
I mean, it was last year. Let me take a look here. He signed a new contract in 2019. It was a new 5-year deal. He is signed through November 2024. I see him finishing out that contract and just retiring.
Yeah. I mean, it's a remarkable thing. Obviously, we're a WWE podcast, but we would put our houses on people like Daniel Bryan or The Big Show or Mark Henry staying with the company until the end because they were company guys. But as we've seen in recent weeks, we've seen two, if not all of those three gentlemen, almost set for Tony Khan's company. So what else can Randy Orton do in his career? It's really been a stellar heel run from start to finish, and he's sort of done it all. He's wrestled them all. So if whenever Randy Orton does decide to retire, it'll be intriguing to say the least. But that is one for him to come back when he's back injured, and really what they'll do with RK Bro is something that we'll be able to watch. In other news, Keith Lee is set to make a statement on next week's Raw as to why he's been come back. From the way he put across on a tweet before Raw went to air, it seems kind of serious. So I'm generally concerned as to what it could be.
Well, a lot of people are speculating either it's health reasons or it could be because of his trademark issue. I think it's probably a little of both, honestly, because they did report that he did get COVID, him and Mia Yim. So, and probably the COVID probably affected him, so he was probably dealing with a lot of health issues. So I don't know if it took him a while to get cleared, because I know the doctors in WWE, they take a while to clear somebody.
Yeah,
that's why you look at Samoa Joe. It took him 2 years now to get cleared. So there's the rumor that he's going to be back in the ring soon. So, but yeah, for Casey, I'm hoping that it's more like medical. I mean, if it's something personal, hopefully it's nothing bad because I don't think WWE can take another bad publicity stunt. And if he admits to something truthful, I don't know. So we'll see.
I mean, I think it's going to depend whether or not it's. I think it's going to depend whether or not it's for storyline. If it's something for storyline, we could see a heel turn. He blames fans for not fully supporting him and him being kept off TV. You can see something like that. If it's something outside the wrestling business, then yeah, I think it's going to be medical or trademark issue.
I think they'd be genuinely dumb to turn Keith Lee heel. I'm sorry.
No. It will be smart. And you know what? Maybe team him up with Bobby Lashley. Ooh, those two are the team?
No. Orlando, stop
I
talking.
like that.
Stop talking. Don't you ever forget about
Give me my moment. You guys are saying that Charlotte's winning Queen of the Ring. Give me my moment.
Give me your moment. I want to bask in my glory. I want to keep Lee's face for as long as possible. But I guess it all ties nicely into Keith Lee losing to NXT champion Karrion Kross because Jeff Hardy is out with COVID. I mean, it's a last minute booking decision, I imagine, where probably Karrion Kross was going to get his win back against Jeff Hardy.
Well, actually, they just recorded by Fightful that he was supposed to lose against Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
So, my question is, was Jeff supposed to go down to NXT and then face Cross for the title, and then he wins the title? I mean, it will rejuvenate his career a little bit. I mean, I would love to see him with some of the guys down there.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy in NXT when he can do all the flips in the world under Triple H's management. Oh yes, please. Oh,
I know Triple H loves Jeff Hardy, so I think he would probably give him the moon to
Sarah, what do you think?
I would love to see Jeff Hardy at NXT. I think see him work with some of those guys down there. Johnny Gargano would be amazing. Or Jeff Hardy and against Austin Theory.
Ooh, cool. No, Jeff Hardy versus Adam Cole. Jeff Hardy versus who else is down there? Pete Dunne. Ooh.
Now we're talking.
The list goes on and on. I'm just like, But I know that there's some reports they're saying that he's not going down to NXT, but we don't know what was the actual original plan was because, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, it's Jeff Hardy, and we talk about Randy Orton having a illustrious career. Jeff Hardy has certainly been around for a lot longer, and obviously he's had. He's dabbled in TNA. Sting would certainly know about that. Is that he's been in the company for a good best part of a quarter of a decade on and off. So he's really, I think he's starting to slow up a little bit. Maybe go into a management role like his brother is going to do. We're just talking about NXT. I guess it's a newsworthy story. NXT going to Sci-Fi for 2 weeks to make way for the Tokyo Olympics. I can imagine. I can already see the headlines tomorrow and Thursday, reading that the ratings are down as a result. It's a funny one. Of course, last time WWE aired on Sci-Fi, it didn't end too well. I test to Paul Heyman, but do you think the break away from regular programming for 2 weeks will be a help or a massive hindrance? As we build up to TakeOver?
I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know.
I think I completely forgot they're going to be on Sci-Fi, so I imagine there's going to be quite a few people who are going to forget. So they're going to either think their DVR is taping it or going to try to expect to watch it, and then it's not on. They're going to forget, and it's going to cost them quite a bit of ratings.
Yeah. It does make one wonder. Obviously, had the Wednesday Night War against AEW Dynamite still been in full effect, is that how much of a damage that would have done against the main rival? Is that now they're on separate nights, at least they have got that buffer where they haven't got to worry as much with a clash like this.
Yeah, but remember also AEW suffered because when they went to Friday night, so I mean their show suffered. So I mean, I mean, it's always like if it's a different time, a different channel, it always affects the product. It takes a while for fans to find it
Mhm.
and watch it. So we'll see in the next weeks. I mean, they already taped the 2 weeks, so we'll see
Hmm.
what. I already seen some spoilers, so I already gave one spoiler about Samoa Joe. Sorry about that, folks. If you didn't want to know the spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be um, interesting to see what it does to the numbers. Certainly going forward, but yeah, I think they're on a path to really picking up momentum, especially with what they're doing with Samoa Joe at the moment, as to getting back into a ring and into in-ring competition. It's certainly when you've got somebody like Samoa Joe, ultimately you're going to pull in ratings. And you're going to pull in interest. And linking smartly away is that there's been praise this week from Instagram. Is that one of the most viewed, highest viewed Instagram post in company history? Is a photo of John Cena confronting Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, and that is pulling in more eyes to the product. I mean, when a moment like that comes around, everyone's eyes has to be on it, and to live that moment again and again and again it was just a great pop, wasn't it?
Yeah. And also he's working the live events. So I saw videos that he's working the
Mm.
live events too. So I mean,
They were
John
back
Cena-
on the road
yeah.
just over the weekend, and he did win in a 6-man tag against the Bloodline, and he can still go. He can still go
Mhm.
and still do the 6 moves of doom. So it's exciting to see how he'll get in shape between now and what only 4 weeks away from the big night in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. He works out every day. Like he's like the Rock. So I mean, like John Cena has nothing to worry about when it comes to workouts. So you know,
Of course, and apparently he's been revealed for the Madison Square Garden show on the 10th of September for Friday Night SmackDown, hinting that he will be sticking around somewhat after SummerSlam. Um, could this suggest that he's losing and that John Cena is going to get his 17th world title?
no, he's losing. Come on now. It's pointless for him to win the title. Why? Like I get like I don't think they want to do that mistake what they did with The Rock when they made him win the title. That was more like more personal for them because they didn't like Punk, honestly. So I think they wanted to remove it and then give it to The Rock because he's a bigger draw than him. So uh, they like John Cena, so I think John Cena will understand, making Roman win at SummerSlam, to help him out. So
Mhm.
Sarah, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, Cena's still billed for quite a few more movies and shows and whatnot, so he's pretty much there to put Roman over.
mhm.
Well, we've certainly got the first whiff of The Rock starting to confirm that he is coming back to the company. He's been on the start of his press tour for Jungle Cruise coming out in cinemas, and he said in an interview with Emily Blunt he's starting to use wrestling terminology like him and Emily would be a tag team, and that he's returning to WWE very soon. So Survivor Series, guys, November, we're getting a Rock celebration. Hooray. That's how they're going to bring him back.
Of
I, you know,
course. You're not feeling it? It's The Rock. What? What's the difference between The Rock and then John Cena returning? I mean, come on now. It's to draw ratings, it's draw eyeballs. It's kind of the same thing. They're trying to fill that 100,000 seat arena in Texas for WrestleMania, so that's probably
yeah.
yeah.
I know, but like the way that John Cena, the main difference between John Cena and The Rock, and Sarah, you agree with me on this, is that John Cena won't just milk you for weeks and months, and then he'll do it. He'll show up. He quietly teased he was coming back to WWE soon. He just didn't tell you when, and boom, closing spot of Money in the Bank. We all lost our minds. I lost my mind at 4:30 in the morning. The Rock, on the other hand, will just be like, yeah, I'm coming back. And, you can probably go back through many of his interviews over the years that he said he'd be coming back. But we all know when he'll come back, and he'll probably announce in advance what date he'll be coming back. And then that's sort of that. It's got less of a that's the thing. Like rewind 10 years, right? When he was announced as the host for WrestleMania 27, arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time. He asked Michael Cole and Jack Swagger that. It was kind of expected. We all heard that he signed a deal, and then he signed a 3-year WrestleMania deal, which again ended up with him losing to John Cena in WrestleMania 29 after beating CM Punk and ending his 434 WWE title run. Is that it's underwhelming. It's not the Rock of old. It's not the Rock of 1999 2000 who will just slam through everybody and able to have barnstorm after barnstorm. It's formulaic, and as much as we are quietly excited for Roman Reigns against the Rock, just give it to us. Just don't tell us. Just give it to us. And this is why I sort of hate being a wrestling commentator, is that you sort of can read about it, but you just want it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Orlando?
Actually, I don't. But to me, it's just like I don't mind the build. Like look, The Rock. I understand why he's doing it because he's from the old school era about like, oh no, I'm not confirming, but he really didn't deny. So, and of course, they really want to keep this hush hush because they really want to fill that arena in Survivor Series. So, I mean, that's my opinion. So, I mean, they're gonna give it to us. I feel that they are. It's gonna happen. So we'll see.
If we get Roman versus Rock WrestleMania next year, is that the second icon versus icon match when we had Hogan versus Rock?
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think that whole icon versus icon is long gone now because this newer generation of wrestlers doesn't have the star power like how it was from the older guys like Hogan and Savage and Piper and Austin and Michaels and Hart. I mean, right now what we're seeing from wrestling, there's a rejuvenant, so maybe there could be one person soon we'll see. We were seeing them now, but they're not at that level yet. Becky right now, she's in that kind of like almost that she's like in that CM Punk Cena type of like star power, in my opinion. Yeah. So, but honestly, there hasn't really been like a star since CM Punk, I would say.
Yeah, I agreed, and I think that you use the term icon versus icon. I think it's yes, they use that for those glaring looks of Hollywood Hulk Hogan and The Rock in March 2002, and that was to trademark once in a lifetime sort of moments where they changed the match on the fly because it was so overwhelming, and sort of almost a double turn between the two. And it's going to be a long time till we get another moment like that, and also another moment like Taker against Michaels in 25-26. It's going to be a long time till we get a match that we're going to talk about for years to come. Rock Cena felt forced and was forced. We had a year to build to it, and then we got back to back main events of WrestleMania, and as much as some would argue, yes, that was once in a lifetime. It just didn't feel right, and they've got to. And the only way that I'd be impressed by this, and I think we've gone a bit on too long, but I'm sure in future weeks we're going to keep coming back to this, is The Rock has to come back and really get his hands deep and start taking shots here. We don't want 2011, 2012 Rock coming back. We want, I'm going to say it, 2003 Rock. We want the Rock that is a dirty heel, is willing to say what he's like, and is willing to get low to be able to get to Roman. And that's the build that they have between Heyman and the Bloodline against the most electrifying man in all the sports entertainment. That's the kind of intrigue that I want. But we'll see in weeks to months to come what sort of build we're going to get. That is certainly for sure. We're going to discuss it here on the Chop Shop. One final story, I guess, we'll wrap up with is the news that came out today. Is that we are getting a drama series about Vince McMahon in the 90s. And it's going to keep Vince McMahon face against Rupert Murdoch. I mean, surely you commissioned this did not watch the Attitude Era.
Well, no, this is the series where he went to trial for the steroids. So this is something before the Attitude Era. So, I'm just wondering if Chris Helmsworth will still play Hulk for this TV series because he's going to be playing the Hulk in a movie, in a future project. So I'm anxious just to see like because for a fact sometimes TV they fib some stories.
They fib. They fib. No, have you seen the Jesse Ventura story? It's a masterpiece. It's.
I don't know. Like we'll see. I'm anxious just to see it. How about you, Sarah? Do you want to see it?
I mean, if it's produced by WWE, we know it's just going to be all for show. Try to save face a little bit. We're not going to get the whole truth. If it was produced by the same people say as Dark Side of the Ring, I'd be all for it. I'd be there watching the premiere. But it all depends who's producing it, really.
Those people from Dark Side of the Ring, they're not going to hold back.
The day they do a Dark Side of the Ring on Vincent K. McMahon is going to be the day that every wrestling fan wakes up and is glued to that kind of episode. And as you said, we've got a Hulk Hogan film in production, and we've got a Vince McMahon series
biopic
as well.
They're doing a biopic of Vince McMahon as well, and then now they're doing this trial for a TV series.
It's just going to be intriguing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. I mean, I don't know who's next. I mean, what will they do? Piper? Will they do?
No. They've got to do Taker, surely. Like something on him that would. Oh,
I could probably see maybe a Taker movie. I mean, or maybe like put it on streaming, like on Netflix or like on Peacock. Since.
So that why not? Let's have a Disney Plus thing of Doink the Clown. Let's have it. Give us what we want, WWE. We want a Doink the Clown documentary.
Oh God.
That Sarah's face says it all. She wants it. She wants it deep down inside.
It would be interesting considering there's a couple different people that play Doink, to get all their different perspectives. It could be very interesting.
Don't ruin the business. Don't ruin the business.
Kayfabe is dead.
I know, right? Kayfabe is dead. Kayfabe is dead.
Kayfabe is dead, and Sarah Biscuit killed it. That is your leading shot of this week's Chop Shot. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast. We'd love to hear what you've got to say on all things WWE related. But from me, Luke Anthony Walsh, the mean queen, Sarah Biscuit, and Orlando Taco, here till next week for the Chop Shot.
Bye.